2-0 finishes with the count of
It's not actually a good advert, is it? With your brakes too much immediate.
Hello. Good afternoon. Welcome to Castle Combe Circuit for the Great Western Sprint, the final round of the British Sprint Championship. This morning we've had glorious weather and we've had some great racing. We've had practice and a timed run, and we are coming back from the lunch break shortly. It's currently 1:10 and the action is set to restart at 1:20. So if we take this opportunity to run through what's happened this morning, we've had quite a morning of it. There's been a big battle overall. Matt Hillclimb has come out on top in qualifying in the first timed run. He put in a 1:12.96, which is quick. In fact, I should probably take a peek at what if only I'd had an hour to prepare for this. The outright lap record is, let's have a look at our I can't find the records here, but I think that's pretty close to the class record. It's there or thereabouts. Pete Goulding was second fastest in his McGow EcoBoost, followed by the sister car of Graham Blackwell, half a second covering those two. So reasonably close considering they're coming into the first runoff in the next run. Steve Broughton, 4th place, and Steve Miles in 5th place. Very tight battle between those four, with Simon Bainbridge, the first non-single-seater in his thundering SBR Chrono. Love the way that car sounds. So let's run through the classes and where we're sat at the moment. I've got Joe Clemo sat here next to me, and he can't see the time, so he's being very quiet at the moment. But you're quite excited, aren't you? Because
yeah, definitely.
Right at the very end of the first time runs, do you want to tell us what happened?
My father broke his chain.
But what else did he break?
The record.
Yes, he's broken his own
best.
PB. Yeah. So this is I assume he has a spare chain.
We'll find out, hopefully. Otherwise he'll have pissed Dave off a bit.
Yeah, so he's gone quicker than Dave by a considerable margin. Let's just have a look at the times here. So Simon's done a 1:25.28 with a broken chain before the finish line, and Dave did a 1:28.18. That's a significant lead. I'm sure Dave will have something to say about that.
Well, he'll have something to show about that if they get that chain back on.
That's going to be a ding-dong battle. But surprisingly, they're just being pipped by the other car in class, which is Graham Harden in his Radical PR6. He's on a 1:24.31. I didn't watch him round.
No, I didn't see him round. I don't recognise the name.
Oh, he's a regular British Championship runner. Yeah, not sure how long he's had the Radical. Maybe 3 years, something like that. He previously ran a Jedi, didn't he? So let's run through some of the other classes anyway, whilst we're waiting for people to line up in the starting area. There's no one there at the moment, but the first people that are going to turn up are the road classes. Class A1, the up to 1400cc road cars. There's 6 cars in that class, currently led by Andrew Till on a 1:63.92. followed by Chris Bryant on a 164.54. And this says Evans Lyndon, but I think it's Lyndon Evans on a 185.46 in third place. Fourth place, David Ashurst. I think he's running the Fiat today on a 189.75. Alex Howells in fifth place on a 205.08. And Jenny Howells in the Imp on a 213.05 and sixth. Class A2 will follow them soon afterwards. That's the road cars 1400 to 1800cc, and that's being led at the moment by Mark Tooth on a 157.8. He was fastest here at the Dick Mayo Sprint in July. Ryan Emer is in second place, sharing the car with Mark Tooth. He's on a 164.99. He had a bit of a problem by the looks of things in the first timed run because he was significantly quicker in practice. Donald Gay is in third place. Believe he's running an MR2 today. He's on a 170.21. Alan Hawkins in fourth place on a 181.08. And Peter Ramsden on a 186.43. Following them, we're going to have the 1800 to 2.6 litre cars. That's currently, it's quite a big class, 10 runners. Dan Trotman's currently leading on a 149.03. I think he's in the GR Yaris, isn't he? Unfortunately, we don't have it on the timing screen here, what car he's running, but I'm pretty certain he's in the GR Yaris. He's followed reasonably closely by Ben Berggraf. Actually, he's got exactly a second's lead, so he's got a good stretch ahead of everyone else there. Pete Goodman's in third place on a 150.33. Martin Prescott fourth on a 151.34. Duncan Morgan on a 156.08. And Hugh Elliott on a 157.75. Matthew Morgan on 158.73 in seventh place. Mary Elliott in eighth place on a 170.01. Ninth place Barney Weston on a 170.77, and Steve Andrews in 10th on a 175.91. The unlimited class for road cars, 5 cars in this class. Matt Bennett leading, often to be expected, on a 140.26. Matt Van in second place on a 149.49. Now I think he's running a different car today. I think he's running his daily driver instead of the TT. I need to check up on the notes. He did tell us about that in his commentary notes. Phil James is in third place on a 151.39. Trevor Hartland fourth place in a 151.83. And Nigel Stokes in fifth on a 177.11. So that's the road classes, in the standard road classes, but we've also got a couple of championships that are based on the road classes as well. Oh no, I've missed one important class, haven't I? The electric car class, the Tesla. Did you watch the Tesla this morning?
I haven't. Can't say I've seen it go round, no, but I watched it at Dick Mayo Sprint and it looked quite quick, especially off the start.
Yeah, proper quick. Let's see if can I find the 64 foot times. I'm not sure I can actually, but yeah, absolutely monstrous off the start. And I stood here on the balcony watching it in the first timed run. Noisy as you like. I was really surprised. I could hear it all the way up Avon Rise, which I was not expecting from a road car. well, not a road car with an electric motor. Also remarkably fast. It was it second fastest car at the Dick Mayo?
It was something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
It was up there with the faster cars. It was
Yeah.
up there with the non-road going cars, definitely.
Yeah, it really was, wasn't it? Well, 1:47.2 was Dave Broadway's time in second practice, which would have put him second in the unlimited class for normal engined cars, and yeah, significantly quicker than any car in any other class there. So yeah, it's a quick car. And now we're going to have to sit here and wait for all the comments to come in about how people do not like electric cars. Yeah, and we have some comments come in fact. Oh, good start, yeah. So we probably should have started with something like that, shouldn't we? Comments would be useful. Please type away in the comments, we can put them up on screen. So this is Thomas Alderton, who won the Dick Mayo sprint in the MX5 class earlier this year. Set a new record for Class A. He's saying good luck to the MX5 challenge, guys. Sorry I couldn't be there. His car's for sale if you do want a class winning car to compete in the MX5 challenge next year. It's a good one. Mine's also for sale, not a good one. But still class winning. Anyway, moving on. So if you're sat here waiting for the action to start, I can see the clerk of the course at the end of the at the start line getting ready to just check everything off. It would be very useful if you could give us a like, subscribe, and share this. We'd like to get it out to more people, please, and the best way to do that is for you to share on your social media. That would be really useful. So let's head back to what we were talking about previously about the championship. So the MX5 challenge. First blood this morning went to Aaron Sharp. Now this is a bit of a complex one. It's going to be settled today. We're going to get a champion, aren't we?
Andrew versus Pekka.
Aaron versus Pekka.
Aaron,
yes. So Aaron is leading. So he was leading the championship before the last round. But Pekka took 2 wins on the bounce, and Aaron had a bit of a difficult weekend. So he's now behind, but this position here puts Aaron and Pekka on exactly the same number of points, and it comes down to a tiebreaker, which is their average time from the winner of each round. It's a little bit complex, but essentially what it means is Aaron needs about, I think it's somewhere around 0.4 of a second advantage, or rather Pekka needs to be within 0.4 of the winner, which has to be Aaron, to win the title. So as long as Pekka's within in fact Aaron has to win the title, and Pekka needs to be within 0.4 in second place to stop him, and that's where he is. He's 0.3 behind in second place. So Pekka looking like he's going to retain his championship for a 3rd season running.
I think Aaron will give him a go though.
He's looking.
He won't let him get away with it.
He's looking on the button today, isn't he? When he came past here earlier, he looked fast and committed.
Definitely.
Yeah. But despite having a championship on the line today, one of the other competitors, James Herford, who is actually fastest in Class A on a 1:61.79, he broke down on the way here this morning.
Oh, really? I haven't heard.
Yeah. So he sent a text to everyone in the challenge group, and Aaron, being a mobile mechanic by trade, said, "Don't worry mate, I'll come and sort you out." And he hopped in the car, he went down, fixed the car for James, and James made it here for scrutineering this morning. I'm not sure if Aaron got breakfast or whether James paid. Or if James got breakfast. Motorsport spec. James, of course, invented Motorsport spec, which is 4 slices of bacon.
That is
good going.
good, yeah, definitely.
Now, I'm just looking at the start line, and it looks to me like there's a car on it. Should we switch over and have a look? In fact, I can see the clerk of the course going past us here on the start-finish straight. There's no times for him at the moment, but he looks like he's having a good time, so we'll leave him to it. But he's just checking the track, and when he's finished, we'll get going with the first car, which looks like Jenny Howells. Seems to have a bit of a problem with the timing screen here, don't we? There we go. Let's refresh now. There we go. So Jenny Howell's queued up on the start line here. See what we can find about Jenny. Don't have much about Jenny. She's driving a Hillman Imp, which I've seen at quite a number of events recently. Not sure how long she's had it, but she is double driving. She's double driving with Alex Howells.
Ah, here it is.
Has he got lost on the way round?
Yeah, so the clock, the course has just come in now, so the car should be getting started any second.
Fingers crossed. So Jenny did a 2:13.05. As clerk of the course passes us here, and she's looking to find around 8 seconds to beat Alex. She has dipped under Alex's practice time, so fingers crossed. She lopped off a fair bit of time in her timed run. Fingers crossed she can go a little faster this afternoon. We got some more comments. Andrew Dinner, Pillbeam extraordinaire, watching from Cornwall, and want to wish 3 of our Bude Hillclimb and Sprint guys, Alan Hawkins, Nigel Stokes and Chris Harwood, the best of luck for this afternoon's timed runs. Thanks, Andrew. So, up Avon Rise, 64 foot time of 2.55. She'll be followed by David Ashurst, the Fiat Punto, I think. And we lost Jenny. Looks like we may have done. Okay, well let's let's move back to David Ashurst as he goes off the line here. Right, so there we go. Jenny's just coming past me here. Her first lap was she crossed the line on a 69.6 with an intermediate of 98.68. The format here, which I haven't covered yet, is 1.75 laps, starting from the pit exit, completing an entire lap and then finishing on the second lap just at Westway after Bobby's, and then returning into the pit entry. So the times you'll see today are times over 1.75 laps in seconds. So Jenny is onto her second lap at the moment, as is David Ashurst, who has done an 85.51 on his first lap, and Chris Bryant is also on his first lap at the moment. Then we have Andrew Till in the 1 litre EcoBoost Fiesta. Impressive little motor this. And there's Jenny just returning into the pit lane there. She's passed by Chris Bryant, also the 1 litre EcoBoost, heading up Avon Rise there. Chris has done a 76.58 on his first lap. Jenny's time was a 2:15 flat, which is a little bit slower than her first timed run. David Ashurst did a 184.93, which is a significant improvement and gets him a lot closer to the top two cars in class. Yeah, he's knocked a good 5 seconds off there. I'm sure he'll be very happy with that. And the tyre steer there of Andrew Till really pushing on. Onto his second lap, so his first flying lap. Andrew did a 76.44 on his first lap, which is a 10th faster than Chris Bryant. So how will they look at the end of the lap? We don't know yet. Chris, however, has managed a 164 flat, which is half a second faster than his first timed run, but still 800ths off Andrew Till's best so far. Can Andrew improve? first double drives from the 1400 to 1800cc cars on track now. Mark Keith, current leader in that class, is on track in his Lotus Elise. Here's Andrew Till over the finish line. What time are we going to see for that? So 1:63.71. So he's just over 2/10 faster than his previous best. Pulls out a bit more of a lead. He now has 29 hundredths in advance. Right, we've had a few small problems with the cameras out on the circuit, but I think we're now reconnected. So we might get a few more camera angles now. There's Mark 2. And we can see coming out of Quarry there was, I think that was Hugh Elliott on his first flying lap. Got a message in from Jack Goulding, watching from home in Essex, wishing luck to Dad, who's driving the Miguel EcoBoost, and to everyone else in the British Sprint Championship. I haven't checked how Pete's doing at the moment, but I certainly can do. He was looking pretty strong this morning. Yeah, he's on a 1:16.07, so I suspect he's quite happy. And I'm sure he can go quicker later on. So Lyndon Evans finished in the 1:88.02. Somebody just rattled the rumble strips in front of me here in an MX5. The 1:88.02, not as fast as the earlier attempt before lunch. Mark Tooth will be next to cross the line. Can he improve on his previous class leading time? Yes he can, by 3/4 of a second, 1:57.05. He'll be coming into the pit lane in a moment and handing over to Ryan Emer. In fact, here comes Mark now in front of me. And Ryan is going to try and make good on his misfortune in timed run 1, where he went a lot slower than he did in practice. In practice he was faster than Mark. We'll see what happens when he gets in the car in a moment. We've got Hugh Elliott, who's next to cross the line, the first driver in Class A3. So Hugh is sharing the car with Duncan Morgan. So Hugh's been competing since 1989 in the Alfa Romeo Race Championship and Formula Ford until 2008. He's the Class B Formula Ford champion in 98 and 99. He's been hill climbing and sprinting since. His PB here he can't remember, but the car did catch fire. That's going to be quite memorable. And he's lopped some time off as well with a 1:54.28. Alex Howells is the final competitor in Class A1 to complete the second time run and is on track now. And Mary Elliott in A3 has across the line in a 1:66.85, which is a few seconds faster than the previous time run, into 8th place. It's no improvement in position, but it is an improvement in time. Alex Howells will be the next one to cross the line here, looking to improve on the first time run of 2:05.08. Let's see what happens here through Bobby's. Coming out of Bobby's and across the line. See what time we get come up here. So 2:08.33, which is a bit slower. But that completes Class A1 for the second time run. We're planning a third time run if all goes well later on. So passing me here is Alan Hawkins in the MR2. Alan bought the car in 2019 purely for competition. It's only got a induction kit and a 4-point harness. He's been competing in the Wiscombe Championship and the ASWMC Sprint and Hillclimb Championship, so that's quite a busy year in this car. First in Class A2, so quite a strong year as well by the looks of things, and an improvement to a 1:68.46, fourth in class today at the moment. Okay. We're a little bit quieter here. Nope, I'm sorry, I've just switched headsets and hopefully we'll sound a Okay, so hopefully not quite such a nasty sound of feedback coming through from this microphone. We have a comment from Chris Harwood after Andrew wished him some luck earlier on. So thanks very much, Andrew. It's always nice to see a bit of chatter going on the stream. So, whilst I've been messing about with my microphone, we've had Peter Ramsden cross the line on a 1:84.56, and that is a small improvement. but remains 5th in class. On track at the moment, we have here a Lotus Elise going through Old Paddock and then hammer down. And I can see we also have possibly an onboard camera coming in for one of our cars. So Steve Andrews stops the clocks on a 174.47. Steve is in class A3, and that is a second and a bit over the previous time run. No place, still 10th place. Pete Goodman then in the Elise. Currently sits in 3rd place on a 150.33. Ben Berggraff straight to the top of the timesheets there, 147.99. That's knocked Dan Trotman off the top step. Pete Goodman into 3rd place with a 150.94. It's actually slightly slower than the previous best. So Dan Trotman remains in 2nd place at the moment and is currently passing me now, definitely on one. He's hit the rumble strips on the inside of camp and on the exit, pushing on really hard there. 68.16 at the first split, which is significantly faster than Martin Prescott and Pete Goodman. So he's definitely trying to chase down Ben Berggraff, who is currently leading after this second timed run. So Martin Prescott, 149.42, puts him ahead of Pete Goodman, but not quite enough to knock Dan Trotman out of 2nd place, but it's a podium spot all the same. Still one run to come, don't forget. Going past me now, Barney Weston in the Mark IV Golf, assume it's a 1.8T. He had a small altercation with the tyre barriers this morning, the S's. Some minor cosmetic damage to the front of the car. He's absolutely fine, obviously, and so's the car, because he's out there now. 76.55 for his first intermediate. Dan Trotman back to the top of the leaderboard there in his GR Yaris, 147.37. I'm sure he'll be well happy with that. All over the rumble strip there. Matt's setting his first time in this car. It's his first event in this car. I can't remember what exactly he said about it. So it's a completely standard Golf R, and the TT that he normally competes in has some sort of fueling issue when he's at Combe. So he's decided to bring the daily for the Great Western Sprint. He's also planning to use the Golf R in the future when the TT's feeling a little bit more tired. He's a regular competitor at Bristol, Manor Farm and Castle Combe, but he wants to do more events next year, including Gurston and Warrington. I'm not sure what his PB is around here. He's driven a few. He had a AMG A45, I think, which is his previous daily driver. Barney Weston finishes in 162.73 into 8th position. It's a massive improvement considering he had a bump in practice and a recovery run in first time run. He's knocked 8 seconds off his time, so he'll be well happy with that, and he's closing up the back with Morgan in 7th place. So Matt Van, 150.08. One of the early times in Class A4. In fact, it's our first A4. It's slightly slower than his earlier time. I don't know if you can hear that. That is the sound of Matt Bennett. His 996 turbo. I believe he's still the class record holder here, and he did a 140.26 in practice. I'm sure he'll be looking for a 130 something this afternoon. As we're watching Phil James in his 911. Normally aspirated this time, I believe, through Quarry. Nigel Stokes finishes in a 173.89. That's a significant improvement there, but remains in 5th position. It's not going to be long till we see a time for Matt Bennett. Here we go, 139.30, so nearly a second faster. That's going to be a problem for anyone who wants to catch him. He's in a class of his own, effectively, today. And that's set the first intermediate is the next Porsche, which is Phil James. Does a 69.37 at first intermediate. Oh, he's past me, that's it. For that, I can only apologise. Just for interest's sake, looking for the class records. Matt Bennett still a little shy of the class record, which is a 138.55. Trevor Hartland there has finished in a 151.54. That is 0.3 quicker than he went before lunch. And Phil James finishes at 150.13, which has knocked over a second off his previous best and gets him much closer to taking second place from Matt Van there. So what we'll be seeing on track now, the next car to finish is Dave Broadway in the Tesla, me now, I think, is the first of the MX5 challenge cars. It is. It's number 441, Chris Birch, first time competing in the MX5 challenge. He's been showing some good form today. And the Tesla has crossed the line. Dave Broadway finishes in a 1:45.41. And he's obviously leading the class of one, but that is an improvement there. And that makes him the second fastest road car behind Matt Bennett. So Chris Birch, who passed me a moment ago, will be next to cross the line here in the MX5 challenge. His best until now was a 1:63.84, which was less than 2/10 behind Phil Oliver, seasoned campaigner and this year's winner of Class A, which he managed to win before this final round. So Chris finishes in a 1:66.70, a bit slower this afternoon. Now we've got some of the cars that were double driven earlier in the previous classes, finishing off some of those classes. Coming past me now, number 60 of Duncan Morgan. 283 on the first lap. Duncan did a 1:56.08 earlier on. Ryan Emer crosses the line in a 1:53.77. Well, that's knocked it out of the park, really. I did say he had a terrible first-timed run. He's 11 seconds. What do you think of that, Joe? Yeah, so he's taken the lead by quite some considerable margin from Mark Tooth in the same car, and it's Mark's car, so that's going to be a little bit awkward. Good luck to Ryan when he gets back into the paddock. Duncan Morgan back in Class A3 again. Duncan Morgan finishes in a 1:55.65, which is best part of half a second quicker than previously. Not quite enough to catch Hugh Elliott, who is driving exactly the same car. There's still a small gap between them, so that'll be a good fun battle later on. Matthew Morgan in A3, also across the line in a 1:57.39. That is also an improvement of a second and a half, but unfortunately Duncan had also improved, so not going to gain an extra position. We're now into the realms of the MX5 Challenge with Hugh Bowen, first season in the MX5 Challenge, just coming through camp here. Rumble strip on the inside, he can carry a bit more speed on the exit of camp, but then first season he's going to pick that up at some point in the future. He's going to be followed by James Herford and Mike Lear. James, the 2017 Class A champion in the MX5 Challenge, and Mike, who lost out on that championship last year when he fell off his bed. There's a story there, but we haven't got enough time in the stream, so you're saved. So as it stands in the MX5 Challenge, James is leading Class A from Mike. There's 2 hundredths in it, so quite a big margin for James there as he comes past me. And third place in Class A is Phil, who says he doesn't like this track, but he is in third place in Class A. And Hugh finishes in a 165.82. That's not as fast as he went before lunch. Phil Oliver and Chris Parr also on track now. So as we wait for James Herford to cross the line, that's Mike Lear just passing me here, making good use of the rumble strip. James is up by 3/10 at the intermediate, so this could be a chance for James to eke out his lead of 2 hundredths to maybe 3 or 4 hundredths, we'll see. So James 161.32, he's knocked a few tenths off, and that gets him a little bit closer to Chris Parr in the Class B car. The Class B car's slightly quicker than the Class A. Class B being the Mark III MX5, the NC model. They have slightly more power, which gives them a bit of an advantage at this circuit, but they also have wheels the right size for the PS4 rather than PS3 variants, which are used on the Class A cars, and they give just that little bit more grip. So Mike crosses the line. It's an improvement, 161.57, but James has opened out a little advantage. He's definitely found his mojo, probably helped by the fact that he was here all day yesterday on a track day. So next across the line will be Phil Oliver. Phil has won 7 rounds this year in the Class A car, and he's done a 163.18, so he's not half a second off, which has closed the gap to Hugh, who is ahead of him. Coming past me now, that looks like Aaron Sharp. That is looking very neat and tidy. He's absolutely on one today. He has to win this championship. And if Pekka wants to stop him, he has to be in second place and only a few tenths behind, which is exactly what he is now, to draw level on points and win on the tiebreak. So Chris Parr has crossed the line in a 158.82. That's a good improvement for Chris. Whew. That is the sound of Pekka smashing the rumble strip. He knows what's at stake here. To quote him, win it or bin it. He's hoping it's not bin it. I think the last time he said that, he did. So Aaron is 9 hundredths down on Pekka at the intermediate split. Pekka has definitely got the bit between his teeth. Has passed me, another first timer in the championship. 63.61. He's 23 hundredths ahead of his double driver, Chris Birch. Sharing the car here today. And Aaron's done that 155 he needed to. At this point in time, Aaron has the right time to be champion. As he comes into the pit lane here, he's sat at the timing screen, trying to work out the maths to see if he's there. Pekka has lost some time on the second lap, and he has not gone quicker. At this point, Aaron Sharp is looking odds on for his first MX5 championship, but there's still another time run to go. Richard Morton will be the last person to set a time in the championship. He's going to be next over the line, whilst on track now we have Ben Crick and Neil Halls, who are both in their first season of competition in the 2 Litre Cup, and Dan Friel, who is not in his first season in his Honda Civic. I think that was the sound of a VTEC that just went past me there. Richard Morton not quite able to improve on the run time. Final competitor in the MX5 Challenge, a 163.75, which is 1400 slower than he went before lunch. David Newman then starts his second time run. He is already the Bristol 2 Litre Cup champion. He was also champion in 2020 and was the inaugural MX5 Challenge winner in 2015. So Ben Crick crosses the line in the 2 Litre Cup in a 165.30. That's not an improvement over this morning. It's interesting, a number of people not improving on their morning times. I don't know whether the track's going slower or whether lunch was particularly good. Here's Dave Newman sliding it into Bobby's. Fantastic. The way he drives that is outstanding. He's currently on a 151.24. And he is just heading into his second lap there. So Dan Friel crossed the line in a 154.51. That's 19 hundredths faster than before lunch. Remains in second place. Good friends with Ben Crick. They've joined the challenge together, and Neil has done a 165.90, which has improved his time massively there. It's his first time out in this car. He's been driving a front wheel drive Renault Clio all year, and today yes, Neil Halls. Yeah, he has been driving a Clio, and he's moved to an MX5 for this event as a final 2 Litre Cup attempt before he goes into the MX5 Challenge next year. Neil Locke also across the line in a 161.77. That's over a second off his previous best and gets him that much closer to Dan Friel in second place. Also crossing the line, Dave Newman in a 149.94. That's a significant improvement, and I think that may be too much for anyone else to beat in the final time run. And may just have to have a quick look at the records and class record is 150.2. Yes, that is a new class record for Dave Newman. He has taken 26 hundredths off the class record. I think that's probably the first class record we've seen today. A few of the we've got Chris Bryant in class A1. I'm not sure why he's running out of order, but he is on his second lap. So Chris Bryant managed a 164.54 earlier. I'd have thought it would be 3 times runs. Sorry, misclick on the mute on my microphone there, and I've just been talking to you and to someone in the room. So yeah, the aim is for 3 timed runs. So Chris Bryant, good improvement there, goes to the top of the timesheets on a 162.96. And that brings us into the specialist production category, so class B2. It's kit cars of Caterhams and the like. Patrick Holmes, Conrad Holmes was the first to finish in a 153.59 and was handed over to, that was enough for 4th place, handed over to Patrick Holmes in the same car in a 152.51, which is a good improvement and would have been 2nd place, but has just been beaten by Ian Chambers in a 151.61. Ian's now in 2nd position. Steve Hill will be next to finish, and after that we have Tony Sherman. Tony has got a few seconds to find to catch Steve Hill, but is a lot closer to Conrad Holmes. Steve Hill managed a 150.74 this morning. Clearly want to beat that this afternoon. The familiar sound of a bike engine here coming into camp. You can hear there is number 40 of Adrian Clements in class Steve Hill, slightly slower this afternoon in a 150.94, 2/10 slower than before lunch. We're having a real mix of improvement versus not this afternoon. Quarry here we have is that the Lotus Exige of Gary Dawkins? I think it might be. Tony Sherman, not quite able to beat his before lunch best of 156.18. It's an amazing 5th position. He's closely followed by Adrian Clements in class B3 with a 153.02. It's a good improvement over the pre-lunch effort, but not quite enough to catch Gary Dawkins, who is certainly having a battle with the 911 we saw earlier for the best sounding car. Anyway, Gary managed a 69.23 on the first lap, which is 0.8 faster than Adrian managed for the same intermediate. Paul Harvey is also ready to go out on track here. So Paul Harvey passed me with a 69.25 intermediate, which is 200ths slower than Gary Dawkins, so this looks like it might be quite a battle. Gary Dawkins 151.27. That is exactly half a second faster than before, he remains in second place. Harvey improved. Rather impressive 145.86 this morning. So we'll wait and see how that pans out later on.
It also looks like Simon and Dave have fixed the chain because they are now running.
Considering previous efforts at the Dick Mayo, I can't remember exactly what his PB is for that. I've got Phil Oliver stood here, just giving me a bit of a lowdown on his run. He's not feeling the love today. The car's twitching about all over the place by the sounds of things. So that's his excuse for only being third today. So Paul Harvey wasn't able to improve on a 148.57. And let's see what Simon is able to achieve. He's the first runner in Sports Libre because he's double driving with Dave. He's done a 126.5. Just before lunch, as we talked about earlier, he managed 125.28, so he remains significantly ahead of Dave, but for how long we don't know. So Dave Phillips is out in the Nova. Dave and Tony are the only competitors in this class. They normally have quite a battle, but Dave clearly had a problem this morning because he did a 183.99, which is absolutely off the pace. And they spent most of the week cleaning the mud off the car after a rally last weekend, which apparently was a little bit muddy.
very muddy. And I think into camp here is Steve Hill, Class B2, 69.78 intermediate. Currently he's going to try and improve. So Dave Phillips will be next across the line. Us on track we have Paul Arbery. This is the start of the modified cars. These cars are production based, but effectively touring cars with roll cages, stripped out interior, lots of modifications and slick tyres. Dave Phillips then finishes in a 165.01, which isn't quite enough to pit Tony. Tony's on 162.5. There's quite a split between them. We were talking this morning about how close they normally are. So I don't know what's going on there with Dave. Steve Hill finishes in a 149.65. And that is over a second off his time before lunch, which extends his lead in class. That is the sound of a Vauxhall Chevette passing me here. Paul Arbery. So Paul Arbery sits third in the modified series production cars up to 1800 class on a 168.68. He needs to find about 0.3 to beat Nigel Smith in the Mark II Escort. Neville Breach is ahead of the two of them by quite some margin. Let's see what happens in the next few minutes. I believe that's Neville there in the Tiger. Neville Breach on a 75.2. Paul crosses the line in a 164.55, which is 4 seconds faster than before lunch. That puts him comfortably ahead of Nigel, but we may yet see a significant improvement from him as well. Neville is on a 75.2 on his split, and here comes Nigel now. His Mark II. A fair bit of smoke coming from the back of that. That's not dropping any oil. So Nigel has done a 78.56 on his first lap. Which is a fair bit off Paul and Neville, so there's a reasonable chance he's not going to improve there. Neville Breach finishes in a 160.75. It's slightly off his morning time, but he retains his lead in the class. The larger modified cars are now on track. John Fordy, Alison Locke, and shortly Kevin Rayner. past me now. Number 33, John Fordy, Porsche 911. John had a fail on the first time run, but his practice time was a 1:67.58, which was the fastest practice time. So we'll see what happens as he finishes. Nigel Smith finished in a 1:68.15, which was a few tenths quicker, but not enough to catch Paul Arbery. So he's still in third place. Here comes Alison Locke into Camp Corner here in front of me. She's running a Mitsubishi Evo. Hundreds of horsepower. Very quick, rocketing up Avon Rise. So John Fordy did a 72.78 in his first split, whilst Alison Locke was a 70.98. But John Fordy finishes in a 1:57.66, which puts him just behind Alison Locke, who is leading on a 1:55.64. It looks likely that she will improve on that, judging by the split times. So coming past me now is Kevin Rayner. Into Folly there. That's a 2 litre car. He managed a 1:61.76 in the first time run, which at the time was good enough for second, but he now sits in third place. Alison Locke has improved by a significant margin. She's now on a 1:53.41. That looks like something that may not get caught this afternoon. I believe this is Rupert Ryle coming into camp here past me. It is. In the Peugeot 206. Swiftly followed by Tim in the Hayabusa engine Fury. I keep telling him he should. If you're listening back to this later on, you really should. If anyone fancies commenting to say that he really should go forced induction, please do. So Kevin Rayner finishes in 1:60.67. That's an improvement, but not enough to catch John Fordy, who jumps ahead into second place in Class C3. We're going to have the final runner in Class C3, which is Rupert Ryle in the Peugeot. He'll be next to cross the line. Current best is a 1:71.19. As Mike Smith roars past me. I thought he was going to have an onboard camera. He took delight in showing me that this morning, but I don't seem to see that coming up on my system here. It's a shame. So Rupert Ryle finishes in a 1:73.89. It looks like he may have lost a bit of time on the first lap. And Tim Monk straight afterwards on a 1:48.06. That's a little bit slower than before lunch as well, but he is ahead of Mike Smith. And I can feel off the line Simon Bainbridge in the incredible SBR chrono. Simon, the only driver in his class, but he's competing for the British Sprint Championship. I'm pretty certain he's going to be in the top 12. In fact, I'm pretty certain he is in the top 12 runoff. So this is the first of our runoff competitors. He did a 1:19.41 in qualifying. So the British Sprint Championship competitors did qualifying in their first timed runs, and their second time runs that we are on now will be the runoff time to determine the points they get in the British. He's here already. How on earth did that happen? Oh, proper wriggle on there. That's absolutely fantastic. I can hear that as much as I can. Wonderful car. He managed a 1:19.41. And his split time was a 55.74, and he crossed the split beam at 120.9 miles an hour. To give you an idea, Mike Smith crossed the line in his rather rapid kit car at 92 miles an hour. That's incredible. He also finished in a 1:55.77. Coming past me here, Dave Greenslade using all of the curb. Dave is trying to find the time that Simon managed to find in the car earlier. He's got a 1:25.28 to beat, and he's on a 1:28.18 at the moment. Simon Bainbridge crosses the line in a 1:18.22. That is 21 hundredths off of the class record, which I know he's aiming for today. As I'm watching coming into camp here. Oh! We've got a spin. It's alright. Going past me backwards now is Steve Broughton. He comes to a halt facing the wrong way on the start-finish line. And just out of shot of our cameras, as across the line goes Dave Greenslade. Is he going to be red flagged? Yes. There we go. So I can't quite see Steve because we've got the blinds down because it's so hot here. Cheers, Joe. He's managed to turn it round now then, and onto his cooling down lap. I'll be a little frustrated with that. He's trying to catch his sparring partner, Matt Hillam, who set a 1:12.96 in qualifying. Steve set a 1:16.99. So Gary Buckingham has come back into the pit lane here for a rerun because he was on his first lap. Dave did. Gonna want some feedback here, Joe. Dave did finish his run. He did not get red flagged. 1:24.82.
It's always close.
That smarts, doesn't it? That's classic Dave there. Nice work. He's not quite done enough to catch Graham Harden, but he has pipped Simon. Simon was over the moon with PB earlier. He's probably back down below the moon now. So Steve Broughton comes past me now. I don't think he would have I don't think he locked a wheel. So I don't think he's flat spotted. Matt's calling him into the pit lane there so that they can swap. They're going to swap drivers now, and Matt is going to go out on those tyres. So Gary Buckingham has joined the rerun lane in front of me. So Marshall's just out on track there, checking something. Don't know if we've got a report of oil, because we seem to have them at multiple places around the circuit. Yeah, we can see them at Old Paddock as well. And is that Catherine walking down Hammerdown there? That's Angie and Tony there, just checking the TyreMarks still there. Yep, yes it is, Tony. Thank you very much. Good check-in. It's over there, Ange. Find a penny, pick it up. Anyway, whilst we're on a red flag, just a reminder, it's really helpful to us if you subscribe to the channel. If you're watching on YouTube, or even if you're not and you just decide to fire up YouTube and have a look there. Liking and sharing, also really helpful. It helps spread this feed further. Maybe we'll get some more people interested in sprinting in the British Championship, and doing a better job of commentary than me. So let's have a look at where we are at the moment then. So we've finished Sports Libre Unlimited class, because that was just the one car. Simon Bainbridge did a 1:18.22, and if we look at the overall times for this run, then he is currently fastest in the runoff. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to work this out with the timing screens I've got available, but I'm going to somehow try and work out what's going to happen. So Matt Hillam, in the car that he shares with Steve Broughton, which we just saw spun on the exit of camp there. I was looking out the window, so I don't know if we saw it on the stream. I wasn't looking at the screens. Probably should have been checking that. So he is looking for a win and a third place, I believe, to take the title today away from Terry. Terry's driving the Tegra Lola. Can't quite see him down there, but I'm sure he is there somewhere. Normally shares with Graham, but I think Graham has pulled out of running today. I certainly didn't see him in the paddock earlier. So we're underway again. This is Pete Goulding. Oh no, he's sharing with John Loudon then. So this is John Loudon driving Pete Goulding's car. This Megawa EcoBoost. It's a Fiesta ST engine with a 1.6 turbo. It's well over 300 horsepower in this car, with significant downforce improvements over how it came out the factory, and when it was one of the two cars that Radical used in the Formula Ford Championship in 2014. Here Graham half across the line in his Radical. Here comes John into camp in front of me. I don't believe he's driven this car has, but he's certainly not a frequent driver in this car, so he's getting to grips with just how fast it is. We looked at the onboard from last year, and that was doing 149 miles an hour over Avon Rise, so Pete's going to be doing something pretty similar. So here's Graham Harden doing his first split. That's a 57.69 as he comes past me here. Compared to 55.79. Has crossed the line in a 1:21.26. It's in third in class, and he's a British sprint contender, so that puts him second in the runoff, I think, so far. It's an improvement over his time earlier today. He's knocked 1.7 seconds off, but he's got quite some time to find versus Pete. Going past me now is Simon Wallace. Simon's running in Class E1, which is racing cars up to 1100cc. Mark Crook also running in that class. Simon's leading from Mark at the moment. Mark crosses the line in 1:36.53. It's an improvement, but not enough to beat Simon. One more run to go, Mark. Chris Harwood also on track now in that same class. Of course, we had Andrew Dinner wishing Chris best of luck. Chris has obviously been watching the feed from the paddock as well. Watching the Marengo pass me here. It's a lovely turned out car. That is, of course, Chris. Just disappeared there trying to find the right times. Simon Wallace finishes on a 1:30.8, and that's an improvement on his previous time, which stretches his lead a bit further from Mark Crookall. think I have the runoff times here for the British Championship, so that's something helpful. See if I can bring that onto a more useful screen. So at the moment, Simon Brainbridge is leading on a 1:18.22, followed by John Loudon on a 1:21.26, Graham Harden on a 1:24.64, and Simon Wallace on a 1:30.8. That's how the British Championship runoff is looking, with Steve Gorton having a fail. We have 7 competitors still to come. Harwood then finished in a 1:76.92, which was a little slower than before lunch, remains in 3rd position in the up to 1100cc single-seater class. Firth Cross is in a 1:57.25, which again is slightly slower than this morning. What do you think, Joe? Do you think the track's a little bit slower?
Well, people definitely seem to be doing slower times, so must be.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, there's a lot of people that are not improving, which is not very common. Carol Torkington went past me a moment ago. She's out on track in Class E2. She's currently leading from Firth Cross. And she crosses the line in a 1:29.29, which is 500ths faster than she went this morning. So, away from the line, by the sounds of things, there was Steve Miles, reigning British sprint champion. As past me comes Gary Buckingham. Gary is running in the up to 2 litre class. He did a 1:26.76 this morning. So he'll be looking to improve on that to beat his double driver in the same car, Michael Froggett, who's not very far ahead. That's looking like a good battle. So Matt Hillam, aiming for the British Championship, is next to leave the line. And hear him going there. And coming into camp here is the reigning champion for the final day today, Steve Miles. So Steve he did a 1:17.96 in qualifying. British Championship competitors less worried about the actual class outcome, and more worried about where they end up overall for the British Championship. There is Steve. Into Bobby's. What time's he going to put in? As Matt Hillam comes past me here. Matt's done a 55. Steve's done a 55.14 on the first split. I'm still waiting for the time to come up. It's a 1:19.96. That's a bit slower. I do wonder if he was put off by the fact that Matt was not too far ahead of him. Matt did a 53.36 on the first lap, which is strong. What's the Dick Mayo outright record? The Dick Mayo outright record is a 52.12 set in the same car earlier this year. So that's a strong start. And here comes Terry Holmes in the low Integra V8 Judd engine. Matt Hillam finishes in a 1:15.31, which again is slower than his time from this morning. It's slower than his qualifying time. So Matt Hillam at the top of the qualification order and currently top of the leaderboard for the British Championship Runoff, followed by Simon Bainbridge and Steve Miles. Not for long, Terry has done a 1:14.15, which takes him to the top. It's all looking very close. Matt managed on the first intermediate a 53.36. Terry managed a 53.05, and Pete Goulding, who's just passed me, did a 53.33. There's 3/10 covering all three of those. How's it going to look at the end of their full 1 3/4 lap run? Who's going to take this runoff today? Matt needs a third place at the very least to keep this championship alive until the final run this afternoon. It'll be the last cars we see on track today. Pete had a less strong second lap, a 1:17.17, but how does that look in the runoff So, still waiting for the runoff times to come through, but I think at the moment it looks like Terry, Matt, and then Pete. Let's see what happens when those times get updated. So, who are we waiting for? We're still waiting for Graham Blackwell. Everyone started? Have we got a problem for Graham? Michael Froggett is the only driver on track. So, we're having a 5-minute break. I don't know what's happened to Graham Blackwell. We clearly have a problem here, because from what I can see, that's the final car. We don't have anyone else on the start line, so presumably Graham is a non-starter, which is disappointing. Let's have a look then. So we have some times for the runoff here then. So it looks to me like Terry Holmes has won this runoff, which may well have won the championship for him. It would be really nice if someone could run up here and tell me whether that's the case, but I think we may have just witnessed Terry Holmes winning the British Sprint Championship. So in second place, Matt Hillam, who needed a first and a third to catch Terry. Pete Goulding is in third place, followed by Simon Bainbridge in fourth, Steve Miles in fifth, John Loudon in sixth, Graham Harden in seventh, Carol Torkington in eighth, and ninth Simon Wallace. And I'm guessing we've got two non-starters and Steve Broughton having that spin. Don't see a time for... No, I do. Trying to compare. Still, those are the times we appear to have. We got some messages here. Paul Alderton, he's not with us today. He was sat here at the Dick Mayo Sprint earlier this year. He says, "Good luck to the MX5 challenge." Paul, of course, father to Thomas Alderton, who has the current record for Class A here, and he thinks that it's possible we could see the record go. So the record for that championship is a 1:53. No, I don't have the Class A record to hand. That's the Class B record. Yeah, that's a bit of a fail. I don't have the record. If anyone wants to comment that and let me know what it is. I believe it's somewhere around a 1:57. But no doubt I'll get corrected shortly. And the times that we've seen in that class today, the fastest Mark II is, and they're all in a different order now, not in time order. So James Herford is leading on a 1:61.32. I think we're a fair way from a Class A record today. Whilst it's a close competition, I think that seems less likely. But you never know. So after a 5-minute break, we'll be resuming with Class A1 again, which is the up to 1400 road cars. So just looking at some stats that people posted on Facebook before this weekend. If Terry takes 2 wins at Combe and Matt takes 3rd places or lower, Terry takes the British Championship. But then Terry is leading. Yeah, I have to be honest, I'm none the wiser as to whether we have just witnessed the championship going or not. We'll have to just keep going and work it out on the final run, which will be happening shortly. In the meantime, let's have a look at some onboard, shall we? We've got an onboard from, we didn't see him in the top 12 runoff, so let's have a look at Graham Blackwell's onboard from a previous event here. Graham's driving the McGow EcoBoost here. It's got over 300 horsepower from its 1.6 turbo engine. I believe it's getting towards 400 horsepower. Running through a 6-speed sequential gearbox and an impressive aero package. 24 miles an hour coming into the S's there. It's a road car derived engine. So it revs to about 6.5 by the looks of things. 109 miles an hour coming into Robbie's, which for reference is about as fast as the MX5 Challenge cars go over Avon Rise. 137 into camp here. Blackwell doing nearly 150 miles an hour over Avon Rise. I can tell you that classes A1 and A2, the up to 1400 and the up to 1800cc road cars are lining up in the pit lane, ready to start timed run 3 of the day, their final timed runs of the day. Alex Howells, I was about to say that Alex Howells is leading, but the times are no longer in time order. It's confusing me quite a lot. There we go, as Graham Blackwell drives back into the paddock. Back to the live action, which has just got underway. So, Jenny Howells here. And down starts. Jenny managed a 95.94 at the first split. a best today of 2:13.05. She's sharing the car with Alex Howells. That's a best today of a 2:05.08. Past me again comes David Ashurst, who currently sits third in the class on a 1:24.3. Currently leading the class on a 1:62.96 from Andrew Toll. He stole that lead on the last round. Can he maintain it this afternoon? Past me now, Andrew Till, trying to recover that lead from Chris Bryant. I have lost Andrew's split time, so I can't compare the two. Jenny finished in a 2:12.37, improves her time today, remains in 6th position. David Ashurst slightly slower in the final run, but maintains 3rd position on a 1:84.93. So we're just waiting for Chris Bryant to come by and see if he has improved. There's a 1:85.31. Something happened there. That is not the time we would have expected. That's me now, Lyndon Evans. Did a 1:88.02 last time out, but his best was this morning on a 1:85.46. If he can find another half second or so, then he will pick David Ashurst to 3rd place. Andrew Till finishes at a 1:63.56, which, whilst an improvement, isn't quite enough to catch Chris Bryant, despite what must have been a spin on that final run. But then got absolutely mullered in the same car by Ryan Emer. Can Mark get that time back? Lyndon Evans then finishes in the up to 1400cc class in a 1:85.21. It is a slight improvement, but not quite enough for David Ashurst. So he remains in 4th place. You've just got one car remaining from Alex Howells. So then we'll have some final results. Mark Tooth then, a 1:56.37, which is an improvement, but not enough to beat Ryan. It's looking very much like Ryan could end up with the win here today. And we've got the double drivers from Class A3 as well on track now. That is the up to 2.6 litre class, or somewhere around about 1.8 litre turbocharged. Hugh Elliott and Mary Elliott both on track. Hugh has done a 71.82 on the first split. Hugh currently on a 154.28 in 5th position. Mary meanwhile is on a 166.85. Sounds like a normally aspirated an ideal car for the 2 litre cup. So Hugh Elliott then a 154.67, not an improvement over the earlier time, remains in 5th position. Donald Gay onto the second lap, managed a 78.08 first split, which may not be enough. Yeah, that's unlikely to be enough to catch Mark Tooth, who was significantly quicker at the first split. So Mary Elliott finishes in a 166.65, which is an improvement of 0.2, but not enough to catch Barney Weston for 8th place. Currently have Peter Ramsden and Alan Hawkins in Class A2 on their first lap. Donald Gay has just finished on a 168.52. Donald was slightly faster earlier on a 168.46, so remains in 3rd place. So next finish will be Alan Hawkins, who managed a 179.38 earlier today. So we'll need to go some to catch up with Donald Gay. Past me now in the MR2 is Alan Hawkins. A little wide of the apex there at Folly by the looks of things. And coming into and out of Bobby's there in a similar MR2. I think, is that Peter Ramsden? Peter did a 184.56 this morning. He's done a 84.18 split time. Chirp from the tyres through camp and much neater apex through Folly. Fast now into camp here. The Honda S2000. Car number 59 is first of the non-double drives up to 2.6 litre class. Steve currently sits in 10th place with a 174.47. Alan Hawkins finishes on a 179.63, which is a few tenths shy of his previous best, and he remains in 4th place. So we're just waiting for Ryan Emer and Peter Ramsden in Class A2 to complete the results there. Peter Ramsden finishes in a 180.24, which is a good improvement and nearly enough to catch Alan, but not quite. So 5th place for Peter Ramsden, and in fact we don't even need to see Ryan Emer running on his 3rd timed run, although I'm pretty certain he will do. He must be in the queue there. So, winner of Class A2 today then is Ryan Emer, so far on a 153.77, but he may well improve on that with his final run. Mark Tooth, 2nd place in the same car, 156.36. 3rd place, Donald Gay in the MR2, 168.46. Alan Hawkins, 179.38. 5th place, Peter Ramsden on a 180. So whilst I've been reading that out, Steve Andrews has finished on a 167.07. That is a massive improvement. And nearly, so nearly, picked Mary Elliott for 9th place in Class A3. So we're waiting for Ben Berggraff. He's going to be next to finish, and the car he's had from new in 2009. He's been developing it since 2015. Sprints and hill climbs. It's 145.22. So he takes back that position that he lost to Dan Trotman. And he takes the lead of Class A3 for now. Let's see what Dan can come up with. Pete Goodman will be next to finish. Finishes in 149.90. It's just it's his fastest today. It's a few hundredths shy, a few tenths actually shy of Martin Prescott in 3rd place. So Pete finishing there in 4th. And here is Dan Trotman in the GR Yaris, car number 54. He has everything to do. He has to find 2 seconds, more than 2 seconds, to take back the class lead.
That's a classic, isn't it?
Martin Prescott finishes in a 149.43, which is 100th slower than he went in the last timed run. Dan will be the next one to finish. Can he take back that lead? He's had the car since February last year,
From there to there, you'd go.
and he's been competing for more than 15 years now in a lease, well, a couple of releases, Clio, MX5, and he ran a Fiesta EcoBoost prior to this. He's done Abingdon Long Course, Gurston Down, and Bristol. What he loves about competing is pretending to be the Stig a few times a day. Well, unfortunately, unlike the Stig, he has not won today. He's 400ths slower than his previous best, and that means that Ben Berggraf has maintained the lead ahead of him. So it looks very much like Ben Berggraf is going to take that win. But we are still waiting for a few more cars to finish. Ryan Emer's on track now with his victory lap. Victory 1 3/4 laps in Mark's Lotus Ease. So Ryan set 153.77 earlier today. We'll find out if he's able to better that in the next minute or so. So Barney Weston, Class A3. He's locked another few seconds off his best today. 1:59.94 puts him into 8th position. Here is Ryan in the Lotus coming into camp in front of me. He's got a lovely balance on that car as it passes here. Manages 70.62 at the split, which from my memory is pretty strong compared to what Mark managed earlier. We've also got Alex Howells, the final runner in Class A1, ahead of him. Alex currently sits in 5th position on a 2:05.08. He's going to have to make some pretty significant improvements to catch 4th place. And he's just about been able to pip Jenny in the same car. And he's not able to beat his morning time of 2:05.08. So his first time run was his fastest time run today, and he remains in 5th position. So that's the up to 1400cc road cars complete. Winner there being Chris Bryant on a 1:62.96. Andrew Till on a 1:63.56. Third place went to David Ashurst on a 1:84.93, followed by Lyndon Evans in 4th on a 1:85.21. 5th place Alex Howells on a 2:05.08, and Jenny Howells in 6th place on a 2:12.37. So meanwhile, Ryan Emer is unable to better his previous time, so his 1:53.77 remains his class winning time. I just heard an incredible noise as the Tesla into that corner. Incredible car. Makes this whirring noise as it shoots past. Dare not think what speed that's going at up Avon Rise. It's incredibly quick, and to this point has only been beaten by the turbo of Matt Bennett. Some quite incredible times. Duncan Morgan then in Class A3, finishes in a 155.23 in 6th place. That is an improvement of a few tenths, and puts that little bit more gap to Matthew Morgan in 7th place, who is yet to run and will be the final runner in Class A3. So Dave Broadway managed a 66.34 on the first lap and completes his run in a 144.91, which is quick. Which is very quick. So we're into Class A4 now. This is Matt Van coming into camp, using the rumble strip there on the exit. 8.36 in the Golf R for his first lap. He currently sits in 2nd position behind Matt Bennett, but he has a slender lead of about 6 tenths over 3rd position Phil James. Nigel Stokes passed me there. Done an intermediate of 81.26. I'm surprised that Nigel is in Class A4. I'd have thought it would be A3. Must be a 1.6 turbo, I'd have thought. Still, his best so far has been a 173.89. Matt Van finishes in a 148.48, which is a good improvement for him. That's shade over a second quicker, and just gives him a bit of breathing space over Phil James, who I can hear. I think. No, I can't. It's Matt Bennett who's coming past me here in the Porsche. Has done a 139.3 today, and that is 8 tenths off of the class record today. The class record is 138.55. It's the time we're focusing on here because he is that far ahead of everyone else that I think it's a given that he's going to win. Nigel Stokes not able to beat his previous best of 173.89, and he will finish in 5th position in the unlimited road car class. Number 47, Trevor Hartland in Focus RS, I believe. He's done a 70.88 on his first run. He currently sits in 4th position on a 151.54. Matt Bennett, unable to match his previous best of 139.30, remains in a strong position at the top of the class. James. Here is Phil James coming towards me. Lovely noise. Start finish straight there. Moving on to his second lap. So Trevor Hartland finishes in a 1:61, which is 700 slower than his previous best. All three of his time runs have been within 3/10 today, so incredible reliability and consistency, but that is going to cement him in 4th position. The question now is whether Phil James can move into 2nd position. 997. So he needs a 1:48.48 to get that 2nd position from Matt Van. Just waiting for his time. 1:97, not as good as his earlier time. So there we go, that's the results of Class A4 then. Matt Bennett wins on 1:39.30. Matt Van 2nd place in the Golf R, 1:48.48. Phil James in 3rd on a 1:50.13. Trevor Hartland 1:54, and Nigel Stokes 1:73.89 in 5th position. Still waiting for Matthew Morgan, who is on track now, who is the last runner in Class A3, but we have moved on to the MX5 Challenge, which is going to be a right ding-dong battle. We've got our first finisher there. It is first time it's Mark II MX5 with a 1:63.92, which is not quite as good as his 1:63.84 this morning. So he's going to finish in 9th position. So Matthew Morgan then finishes in a 1:55.93, which is a good improvement over his previous best, nearly enough to overtake Duncan Morgan for 6th place. So the results of Class A3. Ben Bergerath, 1st place, 1:45.22. Dan Trotman, 2nd, 1:47.37. Martin Prescott, 3rd, 1:49.42. Pete Goodman, 4th, 1:49.90. Hugh Elliott in 5th, 1:54.28. Duncan Morgan, 6th, 1:55.23. Matthew Morgan, 7th, 1:55.93. Barney Weston in 8th with 1:59.94. Mary Elliott in 9th with a 1:66.65, and Steve Andrews in 10th with a 1:67.07. Anyway, let's switch back to the MX5 Challenge, which is hotting up big time. So we've got another finisher, our first Class C finisher there. Hugh Bowen, not able to match his time. 1:64.52, he remains 6th. So on track at the moment we have James Herford, Mike Lear and Phil Oliver. Mike Lear passing me now. He is absolutely on the rumble strip and past it as he flies down through Folly and up Avon Rise. Mike is chasing down James Herford. There is a very slender gap between them, and at the intermediate Mike is on the money. He's done a 74.34 for the first split. James on a 75.59. James unable to improve, so the 1:61.32 at the moment is the time to beat. So Mike Lear next to pass the line as Phil Oliver passes on a 74-61 split. It's looking quite strong for an improvement from him. I wonder if he's stiffened up the front a little more. Mike Lear 160.09 passes James Herford at the last minute to take the lead of Class A. What can Phil Oliver do? Phil is 2.5 tenths behind at the first split. Can he pull that back for the win? That would make it 8 wins this year, which, considering 7 is unprecedented, would be incredible. Definitely an excuse for a beer tonight. In front of me here, Chris Parr, currently sat in 3rd position. 3rd position in Class B and 3rd position overall. He's on a 158.82 at the moment. His first split is a 73.21. That's strong. Could he mix it up between Aaron and Pekka for the title? It's anyone's guess. 160.59. So in the space of a few minutes, James Herford goes from winning Class A to 3rd place. And that's the 2nd place for Phil, and that is another win for Mike Lear this year. He's had a couple already, I think. I do have the results here, but I'm not sure it's important to him right now with that win. Past me then, Aaron Sharp going for the championship. He's currently leading, and he has enough of a margin over Pekka to win tied on the same number of points, the same number of wins, the same number of 2nd places, and it will all come down to a tie break of the total time that they have spent winning this year. Who's going to take that title? Chris Parr, 158.10. So given there's just Aaron and Pekka left, it looks like they're either going to tie on points or Pekka is going to overtake and beat Aaron outright. At the moment, Aaron leads the championship. Pekka into camp in front of me here. The reigning champion looking to hold on to his title. At the first split, there is 6 hundredths between it. 72.39 for Aaron, 72.45 for Pekka. Who's going to take this win? Aaron in a 154.73. That's an incredible time. So he leads. That is the championship to him as it stands. What can Pekka do? Can Pekka beat him? Can he take the title? Can he take the win? He needs to be within around 4 tenths if he remains 2nd. Ben Crick comes sliding past me here in the 2 Litre Cup. Oh, Pekka's all over the road. And across the line, he was all 4 wheels. Maybe all 4 wheels off? Not sure. It's a 156.21. I think that is Aaron Sharp. MX5 Challenge winner today and champion. I'm just going to text the championship coordinator to be certain. I'll wait for a message, but I think that's going to be Aaron Sharp's first championship. MX5 Challenge and the championship with it on a 154.73. Second place, Pekka on a 1:56.21. Third place, Chris Parr, 1:58.10. Fourth place, Mike Lear on a 1:60.09, but also winning Class A, Mark 1 and Mark 2 MX5s. Phil Oliver, second in Class A and fifth in Class, 1:60.59. James Herford, sixth place, 1:61.32. Hugh Bowen, 62.71 in seventh, but we are still waiting for Richard Morton, who has yet to complete his final run, so he may affect some of those times. He's currently on a 1:63.61, which is his best time from this morning. That may improve. So we are well in the mix of the 2 Litre Cup, which has already been won by Dave Newman, who I think I just heard leaving the line. He's currently leading by 1:49 on a 1:49.94. So our first finishers are Dan Friel on a 1:54.89. It's not an improvement. He remains second. Ben Crick, who slid past me earlier, was definitely on one and has done a 1:63. That's an improvement over his earlier time. And on track at the moment we have Neil Locke, who just passed me in his MG, and the new champion Dave Newman. So Neil Halls 1:62.96 pips Ben Crick at the very last minute. They've been close all day, they're very good friends, and Ben has had the upper hand all day until this moment. So we're waiting for Neil Locke. Dave Newman, who slides into camp in front of me here. He is really pushing on. First split time of 69.19 is very strong indeed. I think he may go quicker again, but we'll see. And the next person to start will be Richard Morton. He's our final runner in the MX5 challenge to seal the last few places there. Neil Locke 1:61.66. He knocks another 10th off his best today and puts him into third place, cementing the positions but not the final results of the Bristol 2 Litre Cup for road cars up to 2 litres. It's a championship running 4 sprints and 4 hill climbs this year, of which 5 events are to count, and Dave Newman has won 6, I believe now. Didn't quite beat his earlier time of 1:50.42, so he wins with a 1:49.94. Dan Friel, second place, 1:54.51. Neil Locke in third with a 1:61.66. Fourth place, Neil Halls on a 1:62.96. And Ben Crick in fifth place on a 1:63.40. Which moves us on into the road-going specialist vehicles, and of course the very last MX5 challenge competitor passing me right now, Richard Morton. He's done a 75 in his first event in the MX5 challenge. That is his split time for this run. His best today is a 1:63.61, which is just 2 tenths ahead of his double driver Chris Birch. So that battle there has been settled, but can Richard Morton close in or even pass Hugh Bowen for 7th position? Conrad Holmes then, the first road kit car to finish on a 1:53.26 as he passes me here to go and hand the car over to Patrick Holmes. That battle within the cars is settled in Patrick's favour. He's currently on a 1:52.51 but can still improve. Conrad has finished on a 1:53.26, which was an improvement. He's 4th in class. Richard Morton, 1:60.83. That, I think, has completely changed. Since I read out, it has made a big difference. He's bound to be happy with that. So, the top 5 have not changed in the MX5 challenge. Aaron Sharp, Pekka, Chris, Mike and Phil are the top 5, but in 6th place and 3rd in Class A on a 1:60.83 is Richard Morton. James Herford in 7th place on a 1:61.32, leading comfortably on the way into this last run. He'll be Morton. Dad joke, that's terrible, isn't it? Hugh Bowen drops to 8th at the last minute on a 1:62.71, and Chris Birch, a newcomer, in 9th position on a 1:63.84. So our second specialist vehicle has finished. It's a 1:50.81 for Ian Chambers. That is a good improvement for him and gets him closer, but not quite close enough, to Steve Hill, who continues to lead on a 1:49.65. As he passes me right there, he's done a 68.91 intermediate time compared to the 70.49 of Ian, so I think he may go faster still. I think we're looking at a 1:48 or a 1:47 possibly. So also on track, Tony Shearman. He currently sits in 5th position on a 1:56.18, his best time from this morning. And as if by magic, there he is, passing me now. And Gary Dawkins will be next to start. He is in the next class up and currently sits in 2nd position on a 1:51.27. So we're waiting for Steve Hill to come past. Steve's had this car for about a year, and it's a fairly standard car, he says. It's his first time here. He does a few hill climbs. I reckon he's done quite a few, and fancy doing this sprint. Wow, that's understated for someone who has come along and made a pretty firm stab at this one. The car's probably too low geared for this track, but should be fun. I'm not sure what page of the driver's book of excuses that is, but it doesn't matter because he has won with a 1:49.65, unless Patrick Holmes can take a significant chunk off of his previous best. Tony Shearman has also finished on a 1:56.90. He's dropped a few seconds from his previous time, and this sounds to me Gary Dawkins. first Great Western Sprint. He's making a good job of it with a 69.47 on the first lap. So 69.47 split. Looks like it might be but he's gone half a second quicker at the end of the first lap. Leaves the line there. We're into the modified cars now. Towards me here, the Chevette of Paul Hartley. He's done a 75.34 at the first intermediate. Massive wobble. So I'll be thinking that was close. So Gary Dawkins doesn't meet his previous record, but retains his second place on the 151.71, but he is the first person to complete the final run in his class, so he's just got to sit and wait for everyone else. Paul Harvey being the first to come past on a 147.41, which actually is a fair distance off his morning time of a 145.86. So that's the first two. What can Adrian Clements do about it? We'll have to wait to find out, because he's yet to come on track. So coming into camp here is Neville Breach. You're not watching him, but I am. He's currently leading on a 160.29. He's managed a 73.57 for the first lap, which I suspect will put him somewhere around that ballpark at the end. So that's pretty similar to what he was doing before, I suspect. Paul Arbery's finished in the Chevette in a 163.44. That's an improvement for him, but he remains behind. Third competitor in this class, Nigel Smith, comes drifting through camp in his Mark II. A cloud of smoke behind. Nigel's had the car for 8 years. He's doing the Welsh Trident and the ASWMC Championship. It was originally an orange car, but he changed it to blue last year. He built it with a friend over a few months. The last 2 years, after having a bit of stage rallying fun for 5 years with it, he's moved into sprinting. He was first in class at Landau this year. He finds that sprinting is far less stressful than find a navigator. I hate to say it, Nigel, but if you weren't sideways all the time, maybe people wouldn't be so scared. Oh dear. Nigel's a brilliant driver, always sideways, fantastic to watch. So, Neville Breach then, a 158.97. He did make a good improvement and stretches his lead at the top of that class battle. What will Nigel achieve? Nigel has done a 167.95. He's improved. So, the finishers in Class C1 and 2 for modified cars up to 1800cc. Is Neville Breach winning with a 158.97. Second place, Paul Arbery in the Chevette, 163.44, and Nigel Smith in the Escort, third place with a 167.95. So we're into the unlimited class for modified cars now. and the 911 of John Fordy just having a past me there. He's going to be the first of this class to finish. Currently sits in second place. He's on a 157.66, but he's being chased by Alison Locke in the Mitsubishi Evo. She currently leads on a 153.41. Pass me there if you can hear it. Currently sits in fourth position on a 171.19. His best performance from this morning. And we're going to see Patrick Holmes starting shortly.
That car's going to be so quick around.
He is the final runner in the specialist production car class. That's the unlimited class. Sorry, no, it's not.
But that orange car on the side is going to be so quick if he goes.
Yeah, it's the up to 1800cc class. So, John Fordy in the 911 finishes on a 155.9. That is his best time by quite some margin and closes the gap to Alison Locke. Quite enough to beat her. She has gone so much faster. A 148.54. I can't see that being beaten. Kevin Rayner and Rupert Ryle are the only two people that can stop her from winning her class, but I think it's going to be a tall order. Rupert's currently on track at the moment with a best of a 171.19. They will both have to improve by more than 10 seconds to beat her time. So Patrick Holmes has done a 70.74 in his quest to improve his time in Class B2, the specialist production class. That might be there or thereabouts, and I can hear the Hayabusa engine in Tim Monk's car running on slicks today in the modified class. On the first intermediate. So it's he's running in Class C4 for specialist production, modified specialist production cars with Mike Smith. I spoke to Mike and Tim earlier, and they neither of them were particularly competing against each other, but against their own best times. So it seems quite likely that Tim's going to win that one. Rupert Ryle, a 175.23. That is not an improvement over his previous best, and he remains in fourth position. Just Kevin Rayner to go in that class. Next on the line is in the Radical. So Tim Monk, what has he achieved? It's a 145.58. He's going to be very happy with that. So that most likely cements his win of Class C4. And Patrick Holmes, the specialist cars. He's done a 152.73, which is a couple of tenths off his best today. So in B2, the winner was Steve Hill on a 149.65. Second place, Ian Chambers on a 150.81. Third place, Patrick Holmes on a 152.51. Fourth place, Conrad Holmes on a 153.26. Tony Shearman in 5th place on 156. So we should see Mike Smith across the line anytime soon. And then we will have the results for Class C4. Dave Greenslade now on track in the Radical. Hayabusa Power is coming towards me now. Over 200 horsepower at the wheels in that travelling about 130 miles an hour as he goes over A from Rise there.
What's that, Ruff? What is that? What car is that?
Seems like quite a long time since Mike Smith. Past us. Just coming over the line now as Dave Greenslade comes down, hammer down, and into Tower. Mike Smith on a 160.27. That's a fair bit slower than he did previously. Dave out of Bobby's as Graham Harden passes the R6. They are both battling for the win in Class D1 Sports Libra up to 1800cc cars. Dave unable to match his previous best of a 124.82. He's going to pull into the pits here, and I can see him coming towards me. He'll drive past and hand over to Simon Clemo, who will then try and set a PB to beat Dave. Here he is going past me now. Probably given his customary tap on the dashboard to the car for doing a good job, and coming towards me now, sparks flying, Simon Bainbridge. Absolutely on the money coming through Camp Corner, flying away from Rise at 160 miles an hour. He's going to win his class because he's really going to beat him anyway. But he's done a 55 dead for the first intermediate. We've got something going wrong with the finish speeds there because apparently he passed it at 213 miles an hour. I think that's probably ever so slightly inaccurate. But his previous best earlier was 118.22. He's also in the British Sprint Championship, so he'll be in the runoff here. Now, what I'm not 100% certain about is whether this is going to be qualifying. Runoff. If anyone listening can tell me, comment in, that'd be really useful. Anyway, Graham Harden, an improvement there in Class D1, 123.91, just Simon Clemo to go. Simon Bainbridge in D2. A 116.88. Let me have a look at my a 118.01 was the class record. That is a new class record by over a second for Simon Bainbridge in the SBR chrono. Well done, mate. That's a fantastic result. Matt may or may not still be in the running for the championship. I haven't quite worked it out yet, but he needs to win if he is still in the running. I know he needed a first and a third to overtake Terry, but Terry did win the earlier runoff. Michael Froggatt, meanwhile, has finished in a 1:23.71. That is slightly slower than his previous best, and he remains in 4th position. Goulding passes me there. The Gal EcoBoost flying up Avon Rise at about 150 miles an hour. So Matt Hillam waiting for a time 1:14.49. That's not as fast as he went in qualifying again, but that is the fastest we've seen during this run. So, thanks Jack. This is the actual runoff for the Sprint Championship. I knew someone would know. Looks like Dad's doing well anyway. Let's see what's going to happen here. He's 2 tenths down on Matt at the first intermediate. Can he pull those 2 tenths back? Just waiting for the time. He's crossed the line. Not quite. 2nd place.
That sounds like it's got a motorbike in.
Yeah, I know.
So we have on track Carol Talkington, I think. It's all gone quiet here. And Mark Crookle.
See, these ones, these Formula 2 are the same as your go-kart, only a little bit bigger.
Here's Pete coming past me now. And Ian Woodmill says, good luck, Smiles, keep your foot in. It's good timing. He's coming out shortly, no doubt.
This one looks like a jet.
These are the last cars. So this, I believe, is Mark Crookle coming down towards me. LMS. Yep. He currently sits in second position in the up to 1 litre. Sorry, up to 1100cc racing car class. He's on a 1:36.53. He's done a 61.4 on his first split. Now, I don't remember seeing Carol. Wide there. Simon Wallace to Cam. Attempts with that wide line, but 59.96 on the first intermediate. Simon leading the up to 1100cc class, but unfortunately he's aiming for runoff points. So Mark Crookle finishes in a 1:32.88. That's a big step up from him. Not quite enough to get to Simon, but he's done best part of 4 seconds quicker. He's going to be over the moon with that. Well done, Mark. And then what Simon Wallace going to achieve here? Cross the line. 1:28.47. That's a big time locked off there as well. Just waiting for Chris Harwood in Class E1. And I think I just heard Steve Miles off the line. Ian's cheering him on from the sidelines. And this is Chris Harwood here across the line. Chris was on a 1:74 coming into this run. See if he can improve. This is morning time. away into camp. Last few minutes of the champion. So he's done a 54.02 on the intermediate. Championship leader, what can he do? Can he manage a second runoff win of the day? He won earlier today, the first runoff. He leads the championship by 3 points. Now the times I've got here are showing me qualification times rather than absolute times. Leading off into the paddock. Here comes Terry now. A little puff. Oh, there's oil. See oil on the exhaust pipe as he came past us here. Hopefully not a problem. He's managed a 52.85 on the first split. Steve Miles, meanwhile, finished in a 118.39, and Chris Harwood on a 171.63. So Matt Hillam's still the fastest from Pete Goulding and Simon Bainbridge. What's Terry going to achieve here? Lots of smoke from the car coming through Tower. I hope that's not terminal. And what do we have as he crosses the line? Let's see him into view. We went 113.53. That, I think, is that. I can smell the oil here that's burnt off it. Let's get that engine off, Terry, and get a beer down your throat. That's the kind of lubrication we're after. So that, I think, given that he's now beaten Matt Hillam, I think that is now officially, well, unofficially, let's be honest. I'm just a commentator making guesses. Terry Holt is 2022 British Sprint Champion. So, still on track then. We have Gary Buckingham on track. Through some class results whilst Gary's out there. So E1 up to 1100cc racing cars. Simon Wallace the winner on 128.47. Mark Crookle second on a 132.88, and Chris Harwood third on a 171.63. We didn't see Tony and Dave Phillips in their Nova, so I fear they've had a mechanical and we're not going to see them. So Tony took the win on a 162.50 and a 165.01 for Dave. We're still waiting for Firth Cross, but I think we've got no more cars on the line, have we? Can't see who it is from here. Might well be Steve Gordon. Yes, it is Steve Gordon. Gary Buckingham goes past me here. So I think we've probably not got Firth for a final run. So that means Carol Torkington wins on a 129.29 from Firth Cross on a 156.91. E3 we don't know the answer to, but E4 we haven't seen. I suspect, judging by the smoke, we're not going to get Graham Porritt come out. So I suspect this is our last runner, Steve Broughton. In which case, Class E4, the winner being Terry Holmes from on a 1:13.53, and fastest time of the day. Oh, we have another engine failure here coming into the pits. That is Gary Buckingham. Huge amounts of smoke from the back of that car. Hopefully he's not dropped any oil. We do have John Loudon as well. We've got another car on the line. There he goes. So actually we can't call E4 yet. John Loudon has not. John Loudon's not hung up his helmet quite yet. Here comes Steve Broughton. Absolutely incredible speed through Cam. Steve loves this place. He's done a 57 on the opening split. I believe that's the second fastest time we have seen. My memory's terrible though, so do correct me if I'm wrong. And even when I do remember, I'm often wrong. So Gary Buckingham finished on a 1:25.82, which was his best today. I hope that engine's okay, given the smoke. Here comes John Loudon, really pushing on into camp. Compromised entry. Well, went a bit too hard. Compromised the exit a little bit. But he's done a 54.26 on the first split. Steve Broughton finishes in a 1:16.29. Now, where does that put him? So, that was a 1:16.29, which is between Pete Goulding and Simon Bainbridge. So we've got Terry Holmes, Matt Hillam, Pete Goulding. So there you go, Jack. He's on the podium at the moment. And John Loudon finishes in a 1:19.34. Is that everything? I can see the Clark's car moving. It is everything. So that gives us our finishing order for E3 and E4. So the racing cars up to 2 litre. The class winner, Matt Hillam, on a 1:12.96. Actually, yeah, that's a good point. That was fastest time of the day. Steve Broughton on a 1:16.29. Steve Miles on a 1:17.96 in third. Michael Froggett on a 1:23.06 in fourth. And Gary Buckingham in fifth on a 1:25.82 with that last run improvement. The Unlimited Racing Cars, the winner, Terry Holmes on a 1:13.53, followed by Pete Goulding, second in 1:15.78. And third place, Graham Blackwell, who we haven't seen since this morning, on a 1:16.54. I wonder if that's his throttle that was playing up last weekend. And John Loudon in fourth place in the 1:19.34. So let's see if we have some answers for the British Sprint Championship. I think that's Runoff win for Terry Holmes, Matt Hillam second, Pete Goulding third, Simon Bainbridge fourth, Steve Miles fifth, Graham Harden sixth, Simon Wallace seventh, and Carol Torkington in eighth. Let's see if we get some results of the championship. No, we don't have any championship results there, but I'm pretty certain what that means is Terry Holmes is the British sprint champion, Matt Hillam in second place, and Graham Blackwell in third, I think. But you'll probably have to check britishsprint.org at some point for the final results, or follow them on Facebook. I've got no cars to commentate on, so I think we're done. Thank you for listening, or thank you for muting me, either way. And thanks for watching, at least. We will be back next year at Castle Combe for another 2 sprints. Dates to be released at some point. But if you like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, why not? And you will find out what those dates are when we post about them. We will see you in the summer next year here or at Landau. Thanks for listening. Bye bye.